Hey folks, I made it. Devastated Niners fan. I did realize that the sun came up on Monday morning, so I'm still in mourning, but it's just a game. So I'm trucking through the adversity, and I'm not going to talk about the Super Bowl per se because it hurts too much, and the worst loss I ever experienced as a Niners fan was Roger Craig fumbling away a three-peat in 1990 against the Giants. But congratulations, we got a new number one, and this one will haunt my nightmares forever. But what I want to talk about is the MVP of that game, Patrick Mahomes, and all this idiotic GOAT talk already, the greatest of all time. Listen, he's a legend. He's already a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's amazing. Any good adjective you want to describe him, that's what Mahomes is. But calm down. He's played 6 years. It's been an amazing 6 years, but it's 6 years. He's not Tom Brady yet. He could be, and that's all we have to do. All we have to do is say he could be the best ever if this track continues. If this track continues, he probably will be. But this is the world we live in. It's what ESPN has done to rot our brains as a society. It's what FS1 is doing now. It's Skip Bayless, Screaming A. Smith, Nick Wright, Mina Kimes, Ryan Clark, all these blowhards who have no regard for NFL history, who spout nonsense and take a blowtorch to history and act like we're seeing something we've never seen before, when from a winning standpoint we have with Tom Brady. From an athletic standpoint, we're seeing it with Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, and we've seen it before with Randall Cunningham and Michael Vick. But I digress. Let's look at Tom Brady first. He did things which they don't make sense. He won 7 Super Bowls. He played in 10. Mahomes might do that too. That's a big if, but that's what Brady did. He broke just about every passing record there is in NFL history, postseason, regular season. He played for 22 seasons. He won 3 Super Bowls after he turned 37. When Joe Montana retired, and Joe Montana is my favorite athlete ever, but when he retired at 38, it was like he was 68 years old. People were amazed he was still playing at that age. Brady had some of the best years of his career in his 40s. And at age 43, he went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and won a Super Bowl 31-9 against, are you ready for it? Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. The Buccaneers were the underdogs. The Chiefs had a couple of injuries up front, and the people like Kimes and Clark and all the excuse makers and ESPN enablers will tell you, act like Mahomes had people from high school blocking for him that day. He was actually only sacked 3 times in that game. He was hit fewer times than Tom Brady was against the Falcons in the Super Bowl when he led them back from 28-3 to win 34-28 in the greatest comeback ever. And a lot of Mahomes' pressures that game were self-induced because he was leaving the pocket right away instead of hanging in there like Brady would and making the quick throws to beat the defense. But I digress. The bottom line is, for now, Brady set a standard which is only Mahomes can catch at this point. And he might, but he's not there yet. That's all. So just pump the brakes. But let's look at it. In addition to the 7 Super Bowls, in addition to the 10 conference championships, Brady led his teams to 19 Division I championships in 21 seasons. That's mind-blowing. Just playing 21 seasons as a starter is mind-blowing. The one time he didn't lead his team, so 19 of those 21 seasons, one of those 2 seasons that he didn't win a division was that first year with the Buccaneers when he took the Buccaneers to the Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl. And he also led the Patriots to 8 straight AFC Championship games from 2011 to 2018. He led the Patriots to 4 Super Bowls in 5 years and 3 wins from 2014 through 18. So while Mahomes, what he's doing right now with the 4 and the 5 years and the 3 Super Bowl wins is staggering. It's amazing. Brady did it too. Let's stop acting like it hasn't been done before. So, I mean, Brady won 251 games in his career, 754 winning percentage over 21 seasons as a starter. Again, it just doesn't make sense. He led his team to 35 playoff wins. The previous record was 16 by Joe Montana. Mahomes has 15 now. So again, 15 in 6 years, that's mind-blowing too. He might get there. Maybe he'll beat it. Those are big maybes. That's why he's not the GOAT yet, folks. And Brady was so good over those 21 years, you can literally break his career into 3 separate 7-year careers, and each 7-year career is a Hall of Fame career. That's how good he was. So, he was the ultimate winner, and Mahomes looks like the ultimate winner now. He's just got to do it longer. And, I've heard, nobody's ever going to accuse Nick Wright or Colin Cowherd of being smart people. They're not journalists. They're just hot take specialists. They never let the arguments get in the way of their lies. Nick Wright was the guy who said before the Buccaneers Chiefs Super Bowl, if Mahomes doesn't win that game against Brady, he'll never be able to be considered the GOAT. Now he spins a different tune. But anyway, they've brought up this stupid. Brady is Bill Russell. He's the winner. He's got the Russell won 11 championships, but he wasn't considered the best player. Wilt Chamberlain was because he had all the stats. Well, that's idiotic. Tom Brady has all the championships and all the stats. As I said, he's got all the records. He's got all the numbers. He's Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain. For a more modern day analogy, he's Michael Jordan and he's LeBron James. He's the ultimate winner with all the records. Until Mahomes gets there, it's a moot point. And Mahomes might get there, but we're not there yet. But again, look at what Brady did after he left New England. His first year in Tampa Bay literally had the worst winning percentage as a franchise in NFL history throughout their years since they were born in 1976. They were 7-9 the year before. They hadn't made the playoffs since 2007. They hadn't won a playoff game since 2002. They didn't have an off season because of COVID. They had no preseason because of COVID. And he goes out there and he takes the Buccaneers to the Super Bowl. And then he goes to Washington. Now Washington stunk that year. They were 7-9, but they won a weak division. Goes to New Orleans, beats Drew Brees, goes to Lambeau Field, beats Aaron Rodgers, and then bludgeons Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, 31-9. The Chiefs scored 0 touchdowns in that game, by the way. But yeah, Mahomes he's as good as Brady. Let me digress. He is great, and maybe he will be as good as Brady or better someday. But that day, Brady schooled him. And now, granted, Mahomes is only in his 3rd year, so a lot of that could have been inexperience. I think Mahomes would have handled the situation differently now. But here we are. And we got to remember, Brady was 43 then. He was 43. That doesn't make sense. In football years, that's 782. It's just absolutely mind-blowing that he did that. And then a year later, he's 44. He threw for 5,316 yards and 43 touchdowns. He was robbed of an MVP because somehow the voters gave it to A-Fraud Rodgers, whatever. But at 44, he put up those numbers, and then in his last year at 45, he led the league in passing attempts. So it's pretty mind-blowing, and I've heard people say, well, Mahomes is so freakishly talented, and acting like Brady wasn't talented. Brady couldn't run the way Mahomes can. Nobody's ever going to accuse Brady of being an elite dual-threat quarterback, but he had a huge arm. He made all the throws. He was pretty much a genius on the football field. So he was pretty talented too. So, again, look at the situation Tom Brady walked into in 2001 when he led the Patriots to a Super Bowl in what essentially was his rookie season. He didn't play in 2000. He was on the roster, but he didn't play. Bill Belichick himself said that year after an 0-2 start, told a source he was going to get fired because they were so bad, because they were 0-2 at the time. They were 5-13 in his run, in his 2 years as coach there. They were 9-21 in their last 30 games. Brady comes in, boom, they win the Super Bowl. They pull off one of the biggest upsets in Super Bowl history and beat the greatest show on turf, beat the Rams. Again, we went over what he did with the Buccaneers. And Bill Belichick, as we've seen, is absolutely awful without Tom Brady. He's never won a division in 10 seasons as a coach without Tom Brady. He's gone to the playoffs 2 times without Tom Brady. He's 81-104. Contrast that to what Patrick Mahomes walked into. He got Andy Reid as a coach. Andy Reid has won wherever he's gone. He turned a dumpster fire of an organization with the Eagles into a perennial winner, taking them to 5 NFC championship games, took them to the Super Bowl in 2004, had made Donovan McNabb a borderline Hall of Fame candidate, won a division with Michael Vick, went to Kansas City. In his first year there, they made a 9-win improvement, went from 2-14 to 11-5, and in the playoffs, won 2 divisions with Alex Smith. And then, to Mahomes' credit, he took over for Alex Smith in 2018, and he took the Chiefs to a next level. But this was already, unlike Brady, who inherited a bad team, Mahomes walked into a division champion. And he walked in, he had Tyreek Hill, a Hall of Fame wide receiver. He had Travis Kelce, who he still has, a Hall of Fame tight end. So look at the weapons he walked into. Tom Brady walked into a situation where his receivers were David Patton, Troy Brown, David Givens, Deion Branch. Those are the guys he won his first 3 Super Bowls with. He won a 4th Super Bowl when Rob Gronkowski was injured. So he won with Julian Edelman, a converted 5'9" quarterback from college, Chris Hogan, a decorated lacrosse player at Penn State, and Danny Amendola, who was a cast-off from the Rams. All those guys pretty much did nothing in their careers before Brady came along, and they didn't do anything after. It's a lot different than what Mahomes walked into. Even this season, Mahomes, yes, he had a bad receiving core at the wide receiver positions, but he still had Travis Kelce. He's never, unlike Brady, Patrick Mahomes has never proven that he can win consistently without a Hall of Fame receiver. It's not his fault. He's never been up against that position, although when they lost the opener this year without him, Mike Tirico somehow said that should have an asterisk because he didn't have Travis Kelce. Like, injuries never happen. I guess by that logic, the 49ers didn't really lose the Super Bowl. They get an asterisk next to it, and Mahomes, conversely, an asterisk next to his win because the heart of their defense, Dre Greenlaw, suffered a devastating freakish injury in the first quarter. But I digress. This is where we are. I'm trying to lay the case out. I think I have as best I can here. I wrote a column about this, and I'm kind of rehashing it, but this whole idea that we've never seen anybody like Patrick Mahomes, wrong. We've seen Tom Brady. We've seen Tom Brady win at this level for 21 years. Can Mahomes do it that long? Maybe, and if so, then he's probably the GOAT, but we're not there yet. And we've seen great athletes before. We see great athletes today. So give Mahomes his flowers. He's a legend. I would put him top. I would put him a 5th already, all time. I'd go Brady, Joe Montana, Johnny Unitas. Football did exist before the 80s, people. Number 4 would be Peyton Manning, and then I'd go Mahomes. So he's a legend. He's great. Just give it time. Let's see how it plays out. Troy Aikman won 3 Super Bowls in his first 5 years as a starter. Never won again. If Mahomes continues, let's have the GOAT topic. Until then, Tom Brady's dropped the mic. So congratulations to the Chiefs. My hearts go out to Kansas City with everything that's going on there. As a Niners fan, we're all Chiefs Nation right now. But Tom Brady's still the GOAT. Have a good one.